I just want to show y'all what's going
bro,
on.
I don't want to. There's a whole ass pigeon here. Why? I think because he wanted to.
Oh my god.
I can't make this up.
Are you okay?
I was like, what is happening?
Hi, welcome back to episode 3 of Tasi's Immigrant podcast. My name is Tasnia Akhtar. I am usually the host, but today I am the guest. And this is the host, my best friend Danny.
Yes, hello everybody. I will be hosting for my good friend Tasnia.
So a little bit about me. I am currently a student at Hunter College pursuing film and business. I am about to graduate in about 4 or 5 weeks, so very exciting. Let's see, I'm 23 years old, turning 24 in a couple months, and I am the child of a Bengali immigrant family.
So, we're going to start with our first question. What is your ultimate comfort food from your culture?
Definitely anything with rice. I am obsessed with rice, and that goes for any culture. But I would say like a dish that I'm really obsessed with lately is like butterfish, butter dal, which is like lentils in the form of like a little circle.
Okay.
It's really like kind of not creamy, but it's like soupy and spicy, and it's very beautiful, very delicious. I also love like lal shak is one of my favorite. Lal shak is like a almost like spinach, but it's red or like pink. And I love chicken roast. Like on Eid day, we have pulao and chicken roast. Such a beautiful, beautiful meal. So yeah, that's what I'll say.
Okay. Thank you for the answers. There's a lot of good suggestions. I definitely like try them myself. Okay, so next question. Are there any South Asian movies, shows, or music that really speak to you?
Yes. There is a movie, I guess it's a Bollywood movie. It's called Chichore, and we saw it together before,
Chichore,
right?
Yeah. I would recommend Chichore to anyone who hasn't seen it, or be it your first Bollywood film. I would say enjoy that. You might cry a little bit though, so like I would say definitely give you that caution.
I would say it's like pretty on point with the concept of masala film. And if you're like a film student, you might know that masala film is like drama incorporated with action, incorporated with romance and comedy all in one, and there's like grand musical sequences and all that stuff. Like all of that is going on in Chichore, which is very like Bollywood-esque. So I really love that movie because I watched it the second after the ball dropped. It was the first thing I did in like 2020, I think. The first thing I did was watch that movie. So what it's basically about is this kid who feels like he's under immense pressure to be this perfect, smart child. He's an Indian kid, and he doesn't do as well as he wants on this like one exam, and it hurts him so badly that he tries to end his own life because he feels like, oh, I'm a failure, there's no point to life, like I'm never gonna be as good as my parents, they don't deserve a child who's all dumb and whatever. And you know, this is the thoughts he feeds himself. So spoiler alert, he survives the attempt, but he becomes unconscious, and the parents have this belief that if they speak to him while he's unconscious, it might help him wake up, it might help him like love himself again and gain the confidence to want to live. So they tell him all these stories about when mom and dad were in his position when they were children. They also felt like losers. Just like he feels like a loser, they once felt like losers. And they believe life is kind of all about winners and losers. And what the movie teaches you is that the parents went through a lot of hardship just like the child did in terms of succeeding in school and competition with your classmates in sports and other competitions. What was I gonna say? Oh, bug! Oh, get off me! Okay. Sorry. So the moral of the story is that it's not about getting the best grade that makes you the best person and the child that your parents would be most proud of you when you are the smartest kid in the room. What the parents were trying to teach the child is that we just want you to try your best. Trying your best is what makes you a winner, not anything else.
Right.
So if trying your best means you get a C or trying your best means you get an A, whatever it is, like, you're already enough. And there was this beautiful concept in the movie where the dad, he like used to say like, oh, if you win this exam, if you get an A plus, I'm gonna take you out for your very first drink, you know, your very first alcoholic drink. And you would think that makes the kid really excited and motivated, like, oh my god, like I get a treat if I do this well. But instead it put this pressure on him, like, oh my god, if I don't do this well, I'm not going to be loved, I'm not going to get that treat. So it was kind of like a reverse psychology moment. And so what the dad realized later on in the movie is what he should have said is, if you try your best, we will go out and get your first drink and we will celebrate. We will celebrate just because you're trying your best.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I really recommend Chichore as, you know, a South Asian movie that really speaks to me, that I feel like the whole world should watch. Because I was under a lot of pressure growing up as the child of a Bengali immigrant family, that I have to be the very best rather than I should try my best. I would say now my parents actually followed the guidelines or the morals of Chichore, which is that like they no longer hold it against me if I kind of fail once in a while.
Right.
They're just proud of me for trying. So
yeah, it's about the effort you put in.
It is. Yeah, and I'm just gonna advertise my tattoo right here because it says effort never betrays you, and that is something I live by, which is why I inked it on my skin. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, always put effort in. Always believe in that. So our following question is going to be related more to school, and maybe this is something that you've thought about. Do your friends ever ask you about your culture? If so, what do you usually tell them?
So growing up, I was bullied a lot for my culture. Like, speaking of orange, oh, hi Pigeon. What a little cutie you are. Hi.
Hi there.
Hello.
A little too close to me.
Okay, the pigeon's leaving. Bye bye. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You're
I'll
loved.
see you on the subway.
I'll see you on the subway.
Yeah, Pigeon's right on the subway.
Yeah, I love that. So, okay, do my friends ever ask me my clothes? Yeah, so growing up, I was bullied a lot. So, like, speaking of orange, I used to wear henna on my hands when I was a child, and I would have, like, all these white kids make fun of me and tell me, like, oh, you have orange marker all over your hand, you're so messy, you're so dirty, this, that, and, like, oh, you smell like curry, and, you know, there's all these, like, really terrible stereotypes, and, like, some of them are true. Oh! The pigeon is on the table. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm scared, bro. I'm scared.
I just want to show y'all what's going
bro,
on.
I don't want to. There's a whole ass pigeon here. Why? I think because he wanted to.
Oh my god.
I can't make this up.
Are you okay?
I was like, what is happening? This is the first time I ever see a pigeon engage in like human connection before. I don't know if that's a sign or something.
It's because I was loving to the pigeon. Pigeons can be domesticated and they're very loving, like, pets. But I've never seen one like so invested in a human being. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, he was interested in what we were talking about. He's like, oh, South Asian, you say? I have a cousin from South Asia. I want to hear about this.
Actually, I immigrated from Dhaka and now I'm in Manhattan. Like, oh, can I be on the show? You know, that's how it felt like.
No, that's what it felt like. He wanted his voice heard.
I wish I knew if it was like a male or female pigeon.
Would that make a difference?
It would.
Okay, so you can relate to him more.
If it was a girl, I'd get more excited.
You'd be like, girl, let me tell you all about Desi culture.
Let's have some girl talk, girl. You know, like that's what I would have said.
Oh, okay. Let's have some girl talk while we get the other guy out of here. So, you know.
Yeah. All right. So back to the question.
Yes, go ahead.
So growing up like that really, really sucked. It made me so ashamed of my culture that I ended up like whitewashing myself when I grew up. So I grew up in Woodside, Queens, and then after that I moved for like over a decade to upstate New York, and over there it's like mostly white people, so that's where I was bullied for henna and for like my smell and the coconut oil in my hair and everything. But like when I went to college, I spent most of my college years at Hunter College in Manhattan, and this is a very diverse area. It's also a pretty brown school, like a black and brown school, but when I say like brown, I specifically mean in this context like it's a Desi school.
Okay.
There's so many South Asians at Hunter, which I didn't even know until I went there. And I had like a lot of friends from Baruch College because we used to dorm with Baruch College on
Okay.
97th Street in Harlem.
I know that.
And over there, I had friends ask me what Bengali food tastes like. So I took them out to Jackson Heights in Queens, and we went to Premium Suites and Restaurant, which is like one of the most famous restaurants in Queens for Bengali food, and they all loved it. And I'm talking like there were Chinese people, there were Indian people, there were black people. I don't know what country they were from, and there were, I think, Hispanic people with us too. So it was like a whole diverse table
Yeah.
that all collectively loved the Bengali food, and it really warmed my heart that I got to gather with people from all over the world to enjoy my home cooked food.
Yeah, we actually went there for your birthday.
We did, yeah,
Yeah.
and you liked it, right?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I ate a whole plate.
It's that's just one example of like my friends taking interest in my culture, and I've even offered my friends to do henna for them, and I love to share Bollywood movies with my friends. Like I went on a first date recently, and it was a really good first date. We're not having a second, and that's okay. That is what I decided, but it was a good first date, and we actually watched Om Shanti Om on our first date, and he
Nice.
loved the movie. I think he like started crying at one point, and I
Always
remember
happens.
like, you know, you usually cry when we watch Bollywood movies as
Yeah,
well.
I don't know
'cause
what
it really
is.
hits home.
Yeah, I never usually cry watching movies, but it's like
Yeah.
every time you play me on Bollywood, it's like I laugh and I cry. It's like all spectrum
Yeah.
of emotions is not hidden.
Masala film, that's what it does to you.
Masalas, bro.
But yeah, we spent a long time on this question, so let's move on.
No, thank you for sharing. I want
Yeah.
to know some masala film. I mean,
No, yeah, I've just been yapping though. And then the
Yeah.
pigeon came in.
no, the pigeon wanted to
Yeah.
join in. I mean, listen, if it was gonna go to you, I'll be more okay than it came to me.
It did come to me. It walked this way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It saw me. It's like, oh, she's here with somebody. I'll leave.
It was like looking at me too, not you.
No, I
It was,
know.
like,
It was
so
more
intimate.
interesting with you. I was just like,
I
hello.
was like, my baby.
It's like in my third wheel here. I'm stuck. The next question is, has your relationship with your cultural identity changed as you gotten older?
Yes. So what I was saying before is because I was bullied a lot back then, I was ashamed of being brown, and instead I took on this personality of being like a white girl. So I would like dress like the white girls do, talk like the white girls do, eat what they eat, just really be them. And once I entered college or the end of high school, I suddenly realized that like from a lot of like influencers on YouTube, and one that I really look up to is like Mohia. I think her name is Mohia Khan, or Mohua. Yeah, her name is Mohua Khan. She is her username used to be Labyrinth Av, but now it's just like Mohua Khan. She's also from Hunter College. I really look up to people like her because like she embraced the idea of wearing American clothes with Indian jewelry, and we're both Bengali, so I guess it's also like Bengali jewelry, and that was something that I started doing at the end of high school to kind of start to experiment with like my cultural roots, see if it felt comfortable. And I did it, and at first I got weird looks, but after a while I felt really beautiful, and so I just kept doing that, and now it's like a really huge part of me to always incorporate my American culture with my Bengali culture. And I'm mostly, I would say, both. I'm a huge mix of both. Like, I do not fit in as just a white American. I'm not a white American. And I also don't fit in as a native Bengali because I'm not a native Bengali either. So I think I'm a really wonderful, colorful, vibrant mix of both, and I'm very proud of that.
Okay.
So
that's very good. I guess
Yeah.
I have a question as well.
Yeah.
So you said that when you started, you were more using what people in America, girls in America would do, right? Dress the like
White people,
white people
yeah.
music and all that. Do you think that partially when you were discovering or embracing your roots, did you have support in family or friends that say, oh, you know what, I like this new you? Or was it just like, you know what, it mostly came from you wanting to explore what meant something to you?
I would say my support was like the online community, the online Desi community, and not really anyone in real life, because like I was bullied by white people for not being white enough, and then I was bullied by brown people for not being brown enough. Like I was constantly bullied by older Bengali girls in my community for not being fluent in my native language, which is so heartbreaking because my
Yeah.
first language was Bangla. When I grew up in Queens, I didn't know English, I knew Bangla. And then when I moved upstate, my parents were forced by some white teacher to stop teaching me Bangla, and then I forgot it all. And I've been relearning it ever since. And I would say my Bangla is pretty good now, but it's like, support wasn't really there from anyone in my immediate circle. So I just had faith in myself, and I'm a very like open-minded, exploratory person. So to me, I was just like, this is very curious. This feels like a crisis, identity crisis, and I would like to see where I fit in. And I realized I don't really fit in with the Bengalis who just want to be Bengali, or the Americans that just want to be white Americans. Like I have my own little box, and it's called being bicultural. So yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful question. One more thing I wanted to say is like my relationship with my cultural identity changed as I've gotten older, in a sense that I started to care way more about my roots. So like the first couple times I went to Bangladesh before I was 15, I hated going there because of the weather, the pollution, the crime, the smells, and also because like the family drama, and like there was like I couldn't easily use my iPad or my phone or whatever. But when I went to Bangladesh starting from the age of like 16 and up, something changed in me, because my mother had confronted me about how rude I was and how ungrateful I was about her home country, that I realized like I need to sit down with myself and ask myself, like, why am I choosing to be this person? What good does it do for myself in this world? So I did a complete 360, long story short, and the next time I came to Bangladesh, I came in trying to learn Bangla, I came in wearing traditional clothes, I came in trying all the food. I was very open-minded to going here and there, like boat rides and all that stuff, and swimming in the ponds, even though it made my skin like literally explode. And now I love Bangladesh as a home to me, and I love my family there. I miss them so deeply. I was just there this past February, and now it's my dream as a filmmaker to make films about South Asian activism, which is why I started this podcast, to talk about immigrant experiences and survival stories and like all that culture. Culture is so important to me. So I feel like if I stayed the way I was as a child, not giving a shit about being Bengali, then this podcast wouldn't exist. So
Okay.
yeah.
I think that's definitely a good way to express, like, you went through your own journey as an immigrant, like discovered, like, maybe embracing my culture helps me grow as a person. And even though it didn't come easy from both sides, the American side and the Bengali side, you definitely learned to embrace both worlds.
Yeah.
And to now have like a place where now you want to have other people who experience similar things, it does help, promote the message. Like, you can be yourself and you can embrace whatever culture you come from, regardless if you're South Asian, Spanish, Honduras, or anything like that. I think it's a good message to go by. So thank you for sharing that. So next question I want to ask, do you feel like your experience is different from your siblings or your cousins, which is also relating to your question growing up? So like this can definitely tie in together.
Yeah, I won't speak much about my cousins. I'll just focus more on my brother. So my experience growing up as the child of a Bengali immigrant family is very different from my brother. You would not think that we grew up in the same house, because we're very, very different people. We have a lot of things in common, but for example, like there was like a lot less pressure on him to cook and clean and dress properly, smell properly, act properly, all because he was a man. He is a man. And because I'm the daughter, I have to be this really obedient, well-kept, pristine woman, very religious woman, which I used to be, and he used to be as well. And so I would say, like, without going into extreme details, my brother had very little pressure to tap into his roots, which we have two roots. We have, like, we grew up culturally as Bengalis and as Muslims. And that is completely different than growing up Bengali from a Hindu family, or growing up from Saudi Arabia in a Muslim family. Like, it's a very different thing. So I would say with him, because he didn't really have the pressure to like perform, as much as a woman needs to. Maybe that lack of pressure ended up making him so out of touch, because he really doesn't take that much interest in Bengali culture. He takes a lot of interest in Bengali food, but like the clothes, the music, the dance, and Bollywood, and like all the little holidays Bangladesh has, like none of that really matters to him. And he doesn't want to go to Bangladesh. He has no interest, even though there's like a whole family out there like just wanting to know how he's doing, you know, which is really sad. But yeah, I'm not really sure why it is that way. I just know that being Bengali is like not as big a deal to him as it is to me, and that there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, culture is your choice to embrace, and if he feels very comfortable being more of an American than a Bengali, then that's okay. And it's not like he's sitting here and being like, I'm an American, I'm not Bengali. Like, he's not like ashamed or anything like that, or maybe he is and I don't know. But yeah, I guess that's all I'll say.
Okay, so we're back. Next question. What is something your parents or grandparents do that you've grown to appreciate more over time?
So I didn't grow up with my grandparents, so my parents, what they do that I've grown to appreciate over time is feeding me rice. Like, they will have the food in their plate and then they'll feed it to me like this. And I feel like I did that for you, right?
Yes, when we went to the place in Jackson Heights, right?
Yeah, Premium Sweets.
Yeah, Premium Sweets. You taught me how to eat with my hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were struggling, so then I just fed it to you.
Yes, like, it was a little awkward, but I also think you told me that's how you usually eat in your culture, so I think
yeah, it's a love language. That's what I'm trying to say, which is why it's really an honor for me that my parents still feed me. Like, they fed me yesterday food like directly to my mouth, kind of like birds, I guess, except birds like vomit it out to their babies. But the reason I say it's something I've grown to appreciate over time is because when I was younger, I was really ashamed and embarrassed of my parents feeding me because I was bullied for it in public. So we would go to like community events with like Bengali, you know, daughters and sons and parents, and like all of them would make fun of us for feeding me at those like public events. And it made me like cry, to be honest. Like, what is so wrong about this? Like, I think this is beautiful. And so I eventually just started hating it the way that my bullies hated it. And I asked my parents to stop doing that, and like I could feel the heartbreak in their eyes that, like, you know, this is an intimate way I can bond with my child and now I can't do it. And growing up as a Bengali, like a Bengali Muslim, I mean, I'm not Muslim now, but like growing up as a Bengali Muslim before, there isn't really opportunities for physical intimacy in family. Like, you know, like a lot of families, like American families, I guess, they hug a lot, they kiss each other on the cheek, they have their arms around each other when they're watching TV in the living room, right? All these things, they cuddle. But for my family, like, we don't do those things. My parents barely even said I love you to me for most of my life. I've never seen my parents hold hands, you know, at home. They'll only hold hands like once in a blue moon if we're like going on vacation or something, but like they will never, like, I've never seen them kiss each other on the cheek my entire life. So this is like the one intimate thing I have, them feeding me. And after getting over the bullying situation, I have realized, like, when my parents pass away one day, like, I'm going to miss this moment the most.
Oh, that's really sweet that you appreciate now something like intimate as feeding you rice. I can see why at least you have a connection with it, because it's something that your parents do that like brings you joy and like puts you together. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's like when you're a baby and they take the spoon of applesauce and they're like, here's the airplane. Yeah, like that. I can't wait to do that for my baby.
That's gonna be sweet. Yeah, little brown baby. So next question we're gonna ask is, how do your parents' expectations differ from your own goals? So now we're going to talk about differences. We talked about bonding together. Now we'll talk about maybe some differences, or maybe you guys agree. Who knows? Let's find out.
Yeah. So my Bengali immigrant parents, oh boy, they used to be so disappointed in me, and I would say they still are, because I was supposed to graduate by now. I was supposed to be starting to get an arranged marriage. I'm supposed to be
Really?
having kids soon. Yeah, and like I'm supposed to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, and I didn't follow any of these. And I'm also supposed to be wearing a hijab. I'm supposed to be dressed modestly. I'm supposed to be not having male best friends. The list could go on about all the things I'm doing. I'm not supposed to have tattoos, hair color, septum piercing. Like I have done so many unacceptable things. And so I am very much not the daughter that my parents had imagined 23 years ago that they wanted, but I do know for sure that they are starting to embrace the real me, and they're starting to love me for that. And you know, they tell me all the time now that they love me for who I am, and they do wish they could change things, but they are also okay with who I really am. And yeah, so that's what I'll say.
Okay. So it's like they've grown to accept who you are, despite not being what they originally imagined. I think
Yeah.
that's really nice that they can do that for you, and like they still welcome you
Mhm.
into their life. That shows the love of a parent, that they don't just decide, well, I know I have strict rules about religion and stuff, and so like we're gonna just cast you aside. It's like, no, even the love of your family is still strong for you, that they will still have you like present and everything, and they at least, you know, they show it back through just being there for you.
Yeah, I feel like my parents' love is truly unconditional. I would say the way they love me needs a lot of work. But the fact that they love me no matter what, I feel like they've proven that by now, because they had plenty of opportunity. Like they also know I'm queer. They also know I drink and smoke and stuff, and like they are not okay with it, but they still love me anyway, you know, and that says a lot. Like they didn't. I know a lot of parents who would have like kicked out their kid out of the house by now for being that way, and I have friends who that has happened to them, but that hasn't happened to me. So I'm very grateful for that, and I love my parents unconditionally as well. I hope when they get old, I will raise them in my own home and take care of them and everything. Like it'll be an honor to be able to do that for my family. So
Get to give back to them.
to give it back, yeah, to pay it forward and everything. Like it'll break my heart, especially if they get dementia or something. But yeah,
And thank you for sharing that. That's very nice. I'm sure they'll be happy to see you one day when this interview gets posted up. Okay, so I have one more question, and it's a pretty simple one. What do you love about yourself?
I actually didn't think about this one. Like I knew you were gonna ask me it, but I didn't prepare.
Oh, okay. Well, you have plenty of time now. I mean, no pressure.
What I love about myself is I love my heart, how sensitive I am. Lately, it's been a hot topic that I'm a very sensitive person, as you know, and it's been putting me back into cycles of shame. And I have come to realize that being a sensitive person comes with pros and cons, and they're just tethered. You cannot have the pros without the cons, and you cannot have the cons without the pros. And if that's the truth, then you might as well embrace it and be happy that it is that way, instead of trying to force yourself to be this perfect person that, you know, is not super sensitive. Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm very sensitive in a sense that I can get upset very easily. I don't like blow up and explode or anything. Like I think you can attest to that. Like I'm not like a violent person,
No.
but like I shut down, I become mute, and I'm just like not a happy, fun person to be around when I'm like that. And it can be exhausting for people like Danny to have to like deal with that. But
I've
so
gotten
I'm
used to it though. I've
Yeah.
learned to appreciate that part of you.
Thank
over
you. Yeah, like, so that is the con of me being sensitive, but the pro is that I am super hyper attentive as to like what you need and what you like and how to make your heart happy. And so I am very like, I'll do the smallest and largest things all the time to make sure you feel loved and important. And that is me being sensitive. It means I'm literally extra I'm extra. just to make you
It's
happy.
just extra.
Yeah, and like you can't have that goodness without the badness, which is that I can get upset easily. You know, like someone pushed me on the subway a couple months back and I just cried like for like a half hour. And you know, in New York City, you have to get used to that. I've been living here for so many years and like it still gets me down. But it is what it is. So that is what I love about myself, and I'm not really gonna let anyone make me ashamed of that anymore. So to the person who is, you suck.
Well,
But I love you, but you suck.
yeah, I appreciate the honesty because it comes from a place that like this whole interview is showing that like you have come from a point where it's like you don't want to reserve yourself anymore, because at the end of the day it's about loving yourself and loving who you are. So everything that we just talked about is a reflection of what you previously stated, which is like you learning that it doesn't matter what others did before you, you know, because at the end of the day, your culture, who you are, your personality, the fact that you're sensitive matters to you. And you're going to be that way regardless of whoever is present. And I think that's a beautiful thing to end off of, is like this whole podcast and everything is like it comes from you wanting to share your big heart with everyone. And I think that's very noble, you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I love being me. I don't really I don't like masking, but I have to a lot.
It becomes tiring.
It is tiring. Yeah, just two neurodivergent people
Yes.
masking a way to survive.
It's exhausting. I would not recommend it. Don't do
Yeah.
it. Just be yourself.
Okay, so that ends the episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like, I hope you comment, I hope you subscribe. I genuinely want to know how these episodes are making you feel, what
Yes.
comes up in your mind, what are questions you'd love to have us discuss next time,
Yeah.
what kind of people do you want to see on this show,
Mhm.
do you want to be on this show, because I would love to have you.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for being here. Any last words, Danny?
I would just say I appreciate that all of y'all took the time to watch this, and like my dear friend says, it's very important that if you have something you want to share, a question that you feel like, well, I don't know if this applies to my culture or if it applies to me as a person, but I really want to get that out there, at least have a question to ask. Sorry, pigeon. I want you to at least you know, don't be afraid to put in the comments. Definitely share what impacted you the most and what is something that means to you in your culture. Like, let us know. If we don't know something, we'll definitely be okay to Google and check. But we appreciate that you found this, and I hope it gives you some clarity about who you are and what you appreciate the most.
Okay, thank you so much. Please take care of yourself, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.